Hi everyone, Kim here for Treasure Lee Kit Club and Chipboard. What I've got for you is a tutorial using our November Mixed Media Kit. That kit can be found on our website at www.treasureleekids.com. But I want you to see what we created, and if you are interested in seeing this, then we're just going to go ahead and jump into this tutorial. So, be right back. Okay, so I already did one side of this, and we're going to go ahead and do the other side. I started off with the texture effect paint using the purple color. It looks kind of bluish on the screen, but it's actually like a light purple. And I'm going to take my stipple brush. We're going to open this up. And I'm going to take my stipple brush and dry that off a little bit. And I'm just going to go in and just randomly stipple all over my frame, and it's fine if I don't hit all the spots because I'm going to add some of the other colors, but I want it thicker in some spots, so I'm using what's in the lid because that's kind of thick, and I'm using what's in the jar because that's a little watery, but we're using it all. And this is going to dry down a little bit darker than what you see, so once it starts to dry, don't be worried that it's actually darker. As you see, it's going to dry down like that. I am shying away from the edges because I want my edges to be smooth because we do have to put this together. And we're going to be... Alright, so now this is our last piece, at least now, for now. Now I'm going to go back to our first piece, and I'm going to go in with some of the brown, but I'm going to leave the purple open because we're going to blend the two colors. And so now I'm going to take my smaller stipple brush. I'm going to clean that really well. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with the brown. And I'm just going to go over the spots that I kind of missed. And don't worry if it appears really heavy, because what we're going to do is we're going to blend with the purple. Alright, so here's this piece. I'll blend it. I'm going to set that aside to dry. And then I'm moving on to our next one. And again, here's a little tip. When I'm blending, I like to use what's in the cap so I don't mix my colors in the jar, if that makes sense to you. I might take a little out because what's in the cap does get a little dry, and I may want this a little wetter. Okay, so all our pieces are done. Well, no, they're not quite done. We are going to use our blue as an accent color. So I'm going to close those up, and I'm going to open our blue, and we're just going to take the blue, and we're just going to take our small stipple brush. We're going to give that a good cleaning. Dry that off. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lightly dab in here, and then lightly just pounce for a little added color. It's very subtle. You can see that. Very subtle color. And it doesn't require any blending. Okay. So now we are done. And it's time to put our frame together, which is really, really simple to do. You're going to take your side pieces. These are your two side pieces. And you're going to take the front piece. And actually the wide part goes down at the bottom. Oh, okay, there we go. Make sure you get these right. The wide part goes down at the bottom, and this slides in right here. So that's why I said we need to keep the sides free. I'm going to glue all along here, and I'm just going to be using my Fabri-Tac, and I got a little bit. I'll just scrape that off. It should be fine. And you want to make sure you get in the corner well. But I'm going to glue all across my side. And then I'm going to insert it into this big slot right here. What I've got here is I took a piece of paper from an older kit, and I took the wooden plank that we get from the back for the back of this, and I adhered the paper, and now I'm just going to trim that off. So while we're waiting for this to dry, this is what you can do. You can go ahead and prep the rest of your stuff that you're going to use. Alright, so we've got that trimmed off, and I also pulled a piece of our Treasure Elite chipboard. This is part of a swirl set, but I'm only going to use one piece. And if you've seen me before using chipboard, you already know I've prepped this with some clear gesso, and I'm also going to be using some Nuvo sparkle spray from a past mixed medium kit. And this is the point of our mixed media kit, so you can build your stash of mediums. This is in the color Cocoa Powder. I like that it's a little brownish, but it's also got a hint of purple to go with this. And I'm just going to go ahead and paint the chipboard. That's the whole point of me prepping the chipboard with clear gesso, so that when I go ahead and paint the chipboard, it does not soak in. It will sit right on top, and it will have this beautiful, beautiful shimmer, and I won't have to use a lot of the mist or paint or whatever I'm using either to cover the chipboard. It just covers in one coat. Okay, we'll let that dry the rest of the way. We're going to go back to our frame now. It's still drying, so be careful with it, but it's dry enough for us to go ahead and go back to working with it. So this is where we are with our frame. It's all put together. I'm going to take our wood piece or backing, and I'm going to turn this over, and I'm just going to adhere this to the back like that. So I'm just going to take a little light line of glue across the top. In the meantime, I've got some frames, some words here that we're going to try and figure out what we want to use to go with this. Alright, let's stand this up. And we're sliding a little bit so it's still not dry enough. Let's see. Yeah, we're still sliding a little bit so it's still not dry enough. So we're going to let that sit a little bit longer. And we're going to go with Enjoy the Journey. That's always a good one. And what we're going to do is I'm going to squirt a little bit of mist on my mat. And I'm going to take my brush and dip just a tiny bit of that. You see, I barely dipped my brush into that. And we're just going to go along the edges and then take our finger and smush that, or smudge it along the edges, because this gives you... Okay, so I think we're going to work with the flower. And I think the one thing I love about these vines is that you can manipulate these any way you want them. I think I want that there. That's going to go up there. And it's going to go across there. And then I've got these little smaller purple flowers from a past kit that we're actually going to use on here as well. So we're going to start with this here, and I'm going to use some thicker tabs to pop this up off of the frame. I'm going to start by adhering the bottom to where I want it, and still being gentle with my frame because I know it may still be drying and getting set. And so as I do that, I'm still manipulating my vine, but I still want my swirl to show. And this is where we're at so far. We are still not quite done because I never like having this little loop at the bottom. So we're going to cut as much as we can. And then I think we're going to go to the stash and see what we can find to cover that. And I think I know what we're going to use. We've had some butterflies in our kits in the past, and I think we've had these butterflies in our kit in the past, and I think we're going to try and use one of these to finish this off. I'm not sure if I want the hoop on here. And there we have it. Enjoy the journey. And this is our mixed media frame. with our mixed media kit, and I still have plenty of texture paste left to use from the kit. Oh, and I forgot, we didn't even add our wax. Let's see if we can go ahead and add some wax. We've also got the matte white wax, and let's see if we can add a little wax into our kit, into our project. Just a little bit. I'm going to squeeze this out. Then I'm going to add a little to the mat. And the best way to use your wax is with your fingers and just kind of rub it on some of the high points. So add a little bit there. Don't want to use too much. You can even add some onto the flowers. I've added a little bit onto the purple flowers, just to tie them in with the white flowers, since the white flowers have a little bit of that, the pink flowers have a little bit of that frosting on them. So I just put a little across the top, across the edges, across the top, and a little bit onto the purple flowers. And we're good. So now I've still got plenty of wax left, and I've got plenty of texture paste left to go into my stash. And that's how I stash build with the mixed media kit. So this has been Kim for Trey Jolie Kits. I've hoped you enjoyed this project and watching me put this together. You can visit our website at www.treyjoliekits.com, and you can check out all the rest of the kits that we have, all our other mixed media kits, and all of our other scrapbook and card making kits. So thanks for watching, and thanks for stopping by. Bye.